Hey guys, Space Marine 658 here, and I'm here to bring you the next episode of our dev series. As you can see here, I've got the game up because I'm going to talk about it here a bit. This episode is going to be more of a roadmap, sort of giving you all initial expectations for what this series is going to kind of cover, and where this game is going. So to start off with, this is Starlight Brigade. So this is the one I kind of hinted at in the last video when I was talking a little bit more about myself rather than the game. This episode, we are basically on a roadmap that is by December of 2023. I don't have a date set in that December, but by December of 2023, I want to have this game completed. That is the fully 1.0 version. Now, there may be a early access version of this game that people are given access to, but at least for now, the plan is that the 1.0 release will be 2023. So, as far as the roadmap goes, starting in this December is when I want to have the MVP. So this is the most basic of basic prototypes. You know, what's in the game. It's going to be just basic gameplay features, things that players come to expect. Maybe a bit of, the ship, things that give you the overall art style and feeling of the game, even if it's not completely polished to completion. So for example, in the game right now, I've got things that are all prototype features. So let me just show off a bit. So for example, over here, I've got the main player ship with these missile tubes, which of course is not anywhere near what the final model is going to look like. These are actually embedded into the ship. But this is to prove a concept, to show, the ability to fire missiles and make them work, as well as a railgun, which, some more developer art over here. And then some other features like the bridge camera, which you can switch to from the main camera, and things like that. That's the MVP. The goal is to have that out this December. So December of 2021. So a little under a month and a half, depending on when I release it in December. It'll probably be earlier in December because I want to spend some of December on break, taking a break from the game, just to make sure I don't burn myself out. And then after that, we're going to follow that up with phase 2. And phase 2 is going to be sort of the longer phase. It's going to be really split into 2 phases over the year of 2022. That's going to be phases 2 and 3, which are going to be more polishing, adding a bit more gameplay features depending on what is needed to make the thing feel fleshed out, as well as possibly focusing on the story and the art side. Mostly it's going to be the art because I'm going to need a few different ships, and then working those into gameplay. So ships have different features and they're going to work differently. Some ships are going to be better with certain things, and then as well as we're going to go into phase 3, which is going to kind of cover more of the story side. That is going to be, implementing little bits here and there. I don't want to be too heavy-handed with the story. The idea is this game is meant to be more of just a relaxing, fun hunting game. So for anyone who's played a lot of the old submarine hunter games, where you basically are trolling around trying to find ships to attack and not getting caught yourself, that's sort of the idea with this. Now there's going to be some story to it, of course, because I'm very much a storytelling kind of player. I prefer games that tell a really well-written story, even if it doesn't have to be a ton of story. If there's something that feels compelling, that's what I most prefer. Then next, we're going into 2023. So the first stage of that is going to be phase 4. This is going to be the sort of early access, working on fixing any remaining bugs, focusing on performance, things like that. And then phase 5 is going to be sort of the rigorous testing, the QA period where, checking every bit of code, making sure that everything works properly, that there's no broken features. Because, fixing a minor glitch here or there is one thing, but if the game isn't playable on release, then of course that's going to be basically a dead on launch. And then after that, we come into the end of phase 5 is sort of going to be the 1.0 release. So then we've got the 1.0 release in December. And of course, having it released to more people, a larger audience, there's more likely that bugs will be found. And so basically after that period, there's going to be a short break, because of course it's Christmas time anyway, so I'll be taking a break then. And then when I come back, any bugs and stuff people have been able to find, I'll be able to go through and try and fix those, work on those, patch those. And then we start looking to the future. So this is going to be sort of a lot more speculative because it's going to really depend on the success of Starlight. But we're going to be looking at possibly adding like a lot more free stuff, like more ships, maybe more extensions to the story. I don't plan on having any paid DLC whatsoever. That's just not my thing. If ever I add anything to the game, it's going to be completely free and included as an update to everyone. That being said, some of it may break the saves, so it'll be something where it's more of an optional. I may bundle a bunch of extra stuff into a free DLC that anyone can download, and then just make the main story its own separate thing. That way, no one has to worry about breaking their save games. At least that's the goal. I know bug fixes and stuff, those may be required to be pushed to the main branch, which may break some saves. Because that's something I feel like I don't understand nearly well enough is save games. But that's why I'm giving myself 2 years to work on this. 2 full years to work on this, because it's not going to be a huge game, but I'm hoping that it's going to be big enough that it feels fun to live in, and that the save system I'll have plenty of time to learn everything about for that. But yeah, so that's sort of the roadmap. Now let's kind of get on to what Starlight Brigade sort of is meant to be as far as the gameplay wise. So the big thing with this game is that basically you're a captain of this ship, ignoring all story and stuff. But your goal is to basically survive. And one of the ways to do that is to fight your enemies. Now, there's going to be a lot of variance to the enemies. It's not just going to always be the same. But for example, here, we've got an enemy that's got a lot of point defense cannons and a couple railguns. He's going to be one of the more challenging enemies to fight from afar, because with all those PDC cannons and with how many missiles we've got, it's going to be a bit more challenging. We have to kind of get up close into his face. Now, of course, there's going to be different enemy ships and things like that. And the final ship is going to have a lot more railguns than just the singular one. But the idea would be that you, as a player, are basically fighting a war for survival. You are basically trying to survive as well as you can. Whatever that ends up meaning to the end part of the game, that'll be sort of, we'll get there when we get there. But as it is right now, most of the game's features are not quite in yet. Now, a lot are. For example, you can fly around. The AI can go on patrols, and they'll track you down, and they'll go off their patrols and try to hunt you. And then if you get too far away for long enough, they'll go back to their patrols. There's also stations, which are going to be more fleshed out, that you can actually park at and get fuel as well as repair. Now, there's not going to be a whole lot of these in the final game. There's going to be maybe 2, maybe 3, very limited amount, and this is going to be filling an entire solar system. So it's going to be a huge solar system, and there's going to be a couple of hidden bases that you can go to. There'll be ways to set waypoints for these stations, but I haven't quite worked that out yet, how I want to do that. But that will be a thing that you can do. That way you can find them a little easier. Then as well, I'm trying to think what else features I have. I've got 2 different types of missiles currently. I've got the sort of traditional, just run at the enemy and slam yourself into them. And then I've got what's known as Grazer Missiles. Now, Grazers are sort of a sci-fi thing. They're kind of real, gamma ray lasers, but they work in a bit different way. So a Grazer is basically a bomb that goes off in a missile that then launches a laser through a focused lens. I think they used to call it Grazers. It's like gamma ray amplified. Basically, it stands for gamma ray amplified laser, or something to that effect. So that's how you get Grazers. And that's essentially what's going on here. Is that when you launch these missiles, they get really close to the enemy, they blow up, shooting a laser directly into the enemy, dealing whatever damage they can hit. So that's sort of idea with those. But yeah, and we'll go over a lot more of this in more detail as far as specificity. as the game time goes on, and like I start getting a bit more detailed with what exactly we're going over. But yeah, so that's sort of Starlight Brigade. There's still going to be a lot more that I want to add to it, but I wanted to at least get something out here. Let y'all know that this is my game, this is what I'm working on. This channel is basically going to be about this for the next little bit. If you would like to join the Discord down below, we can have discussions about this kind of things. I'm still reworking some of the Discord, so that it may change as far as style. But if you ever want to reach out to me or say something, you can either comment down below or hit me up there. Those are going to be the two best ways to reach out to me if you have any questions or want to suggest anything. And then as well, if you want to help with the YouTube algorithm, if you leave a like or comment, those both help get this out there. But yeah. So if you have anything else, definitely leave a comment. But otherwise, I am going to go back to working on the game. And y'all have a wonderful rest of your day, and good luck and good hunting.